Good evening, everyone. I hope I'm audible. If anyone could just let me know if I'm audible. Yeah, thank you. Uh, First of all, good evening, everyone, and good evening, Usha ma'am. Uh, okay, so I'm just going. Ma'am, I hope I'm audible to you. So today we
Yeah, yeah, you're audible, Nitya. Yeah.
Huh. So today we have with us Usha ma'am. So I'd like to start with how I got to know her. So very recently, around second year, I got to know that there was an opportunity to become one of the i- become a part of the event organization team for about three communities of Mysore, which is your TensorFlow user group, your Women in Data Science, and your Google Developers Group Mysore chapters. And that's when I got to know her, and she was heading all the three communities in. She is currently heading all the three communities in Mysore right now, and if and I'm gonna give you guys an introduction about her so that you can see how much she's accomplished and how far she's come. And since we're doing this event on the account of International Women's Day, uh, I just like for you to get to know about, just take a look at how women in tech have progressed and what all can be done. And we'll kind of try to have a short conversation about it with ma'am towards the end as well. So, moving on, Usha ma'am, Usha Rengaraju is the world's first women triple Kaggle Grandmaster, and she's ranked as one of the top 10 scientists in India for the year 2020 by Analytics India magazine. Other than that, ma'am is also visiting faculty for a master's program at Symbiosis Pune in India. She is serving as an editorial board member for international journals dealing with advanced study and research work. Along with that, she serves as an advisory board member for research labs in educational institutions and multiple startups. She organized a Neuro AI, which is India's first ever research symposium in the interface of neuroscience and data science. She also organized the Neurodiversity India Summit, which is India's first ever conference in neurodiversity. And actually, she also gave me the opportunity to anchor for the Neurodiversity India Summit, if I'm not wrong. And if any of you had logged into it, because I was there throughout like multiple talks, and it is one of the most interesting things ever. And today, ma'am is going to talk about introduction to machine learning or a roadmap to machine learning and give you guys kind of an insight where you guys can get started and the roadmap for it and what all you can do along the way to kind of, if you started along the way, what all you can do to kind of progress and explore this particular field. And so over to you, ma'am. Can continue with the session.
Yeah, thank you so much, Nitya, for the introduction, and thanking both Nitya and Pooja for inviting me over for this session. And happy International Women's Day to all of you, all the women out there. And so today's session will be mostly focused on roadmap to ML. So the ideal audience for this would be somebody who is not familiar with machine learning and wants to get started with machine learning. So what are this is like overwhelming list of resources out there. So I'm just going to point you out to the right resources so that you can speed up your process of getting started with the machine learning. I'll also introduce you to Kaggle, where you can practice real world applications and stuff. And along the way, I'll also give you some tips and tricks how to build your portfolio, how to search for internship and things like that. So it might be more, the session might mostly benefit people who are yet to get started with machine learning but are confused with the overwhelming list of resources. And so let's get started. We might follow up with a different session where, for people who are already familiar with machine learning, we might have an advanced session bit later, but this is mostly for freshers. And I'm going to share my screen. Yeah. So this is going to be All right. So if you're yet to get started with machine learning, people are so confused on how to get started. So here's my recommendation. But this is not the this is not the only way you should get started. But this is just my recommendation. What worked for a lot of my students, I'm highlighting that to you. See, mathematics is a very very crucial part of machine learning. If you do not understand mathematics, you will still be able to build models, but that's not an efficient way to learn. I would highly recommend all of my students to learn mathematics really, really well. So again, it's all about time constraint. As a student, you might have a lot of time, but if it's somebody who's part of a lot of other activities and you're running short of time, one particular subject which you need to be very strong in is statistics. In mathematics itself, statistics is the most important thing which you need to spend a lot of time getting very strong at. So outside statistics, if you have a lot of time, then probability, linear algebra, calculus is also something which you should touch upon. But statistics is the most important of the other. So compared to other subjects, statistics is a very very important subject. But it's recommended that you're strong in all the four mathematical subjects, which is statistics, probability, linear algebra, and calculus. I'll also be covering how you should, what are the best resources for getting started with these subjects as well shortly. But this is about the mathematics part. When it comes for programming, it's always very good to have strong programming skills. Anybody can learn. A lot of times when I go for sessions, see, not everyone in this session might be from computer science. So even if you're from non-computer science program, it's very easy to get started with programming. It might hardly take you a week or so, even if you're a non-computer science student. So programming is a very, very important component. And in programming, there are a lot of programming languages. So what to learn? For data science, Python is the king. So Python is one of the very, very important programming languages, and 95 to 98% of the companies use Python. So I would highly recommend, instead of learning too many programming languages, learn one programming languages and be extremely good at it. Okay. And outside that, it all depends on what you want to become. If you're interested in computer vision, and if you love solving problems for deep learning for computer vision, then become very strong in computer vision. Irrespective of what you choose, it's always advised to have basic fundamental knowledge of machine learning really good. So even whether you use computer vision, or you want to stick with traditional machine learning, or if you want to stick with NLP, or whatever it is, having a basic foundational knowledge of machine learning is very important. Once you get the foundational knowledge, you can choose to specialize in what you want. Either you want to become a data visualization engineer, where you can learn tools like Tableau or Power BI, or if you want to become an NLP engineer, you can also do that, or computer vision, or whatever it is. But instead of like learning too many things, decide what interests you more. Does text data interest you more, or images interest you more? Whatever it is, decide that and stick to one of it, and be very very skilled at it. Instead of learning too many things and not being an expert in anything, just learn one thing and be very very strong at it. But irrespective of whatever you choose to specialize in, having a foundational knowledge of machine learning is highly recommended. So some of the things which I would have is recommend is having a learning mindset. See, there is a huge volume of things which you need to pick up. When you're sitting with your clients, you might have to pick up the domain knowledge as well. So learning mindset is important. So you might work in a semiconductor project, genomics, or finance, or public policy. Whatever is the domain, you should if you have the learning mindset, you will be able to pick up the things very very quickly. And whenever you always make it a point to learn at least something new for 10 minutes a day. It will help you. Like, you may think, how is it going to be helping? All these unexpected areas of specialization will definitely help you at some point in your time. So always ensure you learn something different for 10 minutes a day every day. So make this as a habit. It's very good to cultivate as first year students or whatever it is at this point of time. If you can spend 10 minutes a day to learn something very, very different from what you're studying in university, it will all accumulate and be helpful at some point in time for you in future. But make this as a habit right now, and create your own syllabus. See, lot of organizations will give you different syllabus for machine learning and things like that, but not everything will work for you. You need to identify your strengths and weakness, find your own syllabus. That's very much recommended. It's because what works for everyone may not work for you as well, so you have to hack your own syllabus and always play one step ahead. See, there's one thing why I asked you to have a learning mindset or a growth mindset is the technological landscape is going to be continuously changing. See, 2008, it was SAP and Java, right? And then .NET was popular back in 2008. Then 2012, 11, then big data was very popular. Right now, data science is popular, but we never know if data science is going to be this popular even after 5, 6 years. Things might change. These are things which are not in our control. So if you have a learning mindset or a growth mindset, even if the technological landscape is ever changing, you will still be able to survive. That's why the most important skills is not actually the machine learning knowledge or thing. The most important skills is developing your critical thinking and analytical skills and having a growth mindset. That's what is important, because the technological landscape is ever changing, and if you need to sustain, then you will have to have a growth mindset and start building your experience. No matter how many courses you do or how many certifications you do, what matters is, can you apply these theoretical concepts into a practical real world applications? Your ability to apply it to a practical project is what matters at the end. So you need to develop that experience. So a lot of times you may not get internships. So what will you do if you do not get internships? And then look out for other ways how you can volunteer. Speak to your professors, find out what are the burning problems they are solving, volunteer for free of cost. So you may not get paid internship, but getting an unpaid internship is very easy. So volunteer at your local police station or collector office, or there are a lot of government organizations and not-profit. They have huge volumes of data, but they do not have volunteers to solve it. Volunteer for free and then do interesting projects added to your portfolio. So no matter how many theoretical certifications and courses you have, by the end of the day, all that matters are your unique projects. See, everyone is putting Titanic or house price regression and all these projects in your resume. These will not work out. Your projects has to stand out. So in order to stand out, you have to reach out, find some experience which will give you unique project experience and add that to your resume. Some of my recommendations for learning, I'm just sharing with you. For linear algebra, these are courses which I really like, but there are a lot of other good courses as well. So you have to hack your own syllabus and find out what works for you. I'm just recommending few things which worked out for majority of my students. So essence of linear algebra, 3 blue 1 brown is a very, very popular channel. You can see from the number of subscribers this person has. He has got around 4.42 million subscribers, and his way of teaching linear algebra is really good because he has got some amazing visualizations out there. So I would highly recommend checking it out. Outside this,
it illustrates the structure.
You also have a free codecamp.org. You have a full 11 hours worth linear algebra as well. So these are couple of resources which I would recommend for linear algebra. You can also opt for Gilbert Strang's MIT free videos on YouTube. But a couple of them which I would recommend is 3 blue 1 brown and free codecamp.org. Calculus. So if you see calculus, I would highly recommend the calculus in freecodecamp.org. It's a 12-hour tutorial, which is pretty good enough for you to cover all the basics. And you can also go for probability in, again, the freecodecamp.org. The probability, if you want something advanced, you can also use the MIT YouTube videos as well. For statistics, I would highly recommend the StatQuest with Josh Tammer. He is an absolutely brilliant instructor with great animations and perfect explanations for the pairing up with the animations. I would highly recommend StatQuest with Josh Tammer for learning statistics. He's a brilliant instructor. You will love his videos. So these are some of my recommendations for mathematics. See, I'm just giving recommendations what work for most of my students. It's not necessary to work out for you. You can watch it, and if you like, you can add it to your reading list. If you want something very advanced, if you find these videos are generally for beginners, but if you are looking for something advanced, I would highly recommend the free MOOC videos available on YouTube from MIT. So MIT has got good probability course, statistic course, and they also have linear algebra from Gilbert Strand. These are some of the courses if you are looking for some advanced course materials. Outside this, once you've done it, irrespective of whatever specialization you choose to do, you have to have a foundational fundamentals of machine learning right. Some of the recommendations which I would give is Machine Learning Crash Course from Google. This is a free course which is available. It's got brilliant course with right kind of explanations and practice problems and case studies. This is from Google and it's free of cost. Check that out. Kaggle also has got a free set of micro courses. You have a lot of micro courses starting from Python, machine learning, pandas, almost every subject in machine learning you have courses, even deep learning you have courses. Why I recommend these courses? Because these are courses which are micro courses, which means it's only 4 hours length. Outside this, they also have got numerous practice experience for you to practice and get well versed with it. So these are CANs absolutely free of cost, and you also get a certificate of completion as well. So I would highly recommend Kaggle Learn's free micro courses. And outside this, if you're looking for something concrete and a bit more tough, then I would highly recommend this particular specialization from Coursera. It's one of my favorite specializations. Machine learning specialization from University of Washington. The reason why I recommend this is it has a right combination of theoretical and the hands-on exercise. So it's one of the best specializations out there. It's a 4-course specializations, and I highly recommend machine learning specialization from University of Washington in Coursera. So these are my recommendations for learning foundations of machine learning. Once you complete that, so then you have to find out a lot of use cases for building out your project portfolio. So some of the use cases are fraud detection. So most of any places, banks or any company you go, machine learning is used for fraud detection. Then if you get hold of customer data, there's a lot of use cases using customer data like customer segmentation, lifetime segmentation, lifetime value prediction, making recommendation engines, personalization. You take any e-commerce website, whether it's Swiggy or whether it is Walmart, Amazon, all these organizations, they use recommendation system. Recommendation systems is one of the most popular use cases, analyzing customer behavior, marketing. These are some of the project use cases which I'm just giving you some ideas of to go and search out for projects to build a personal portfolio. So in addition to all these recommendations, I would also highly recommend, before I'll take a pause here, and what I would do is I would recommend all of you to join this Mysuru community. And so this GDG Mysuru, we have, the meetup group is no longer out there. So all of you have to be part of this GDG community dev. So join this community if you want to keep in touch with Google GDG Mysuru. Then I would highly recommend you will have to go because Google has come up with its own platform, gdg.community.dev. You have to be part of this community if you want to receive any mails and notifications from us. We had around 1,700 members, but we have lost all of it because they've shut down the meetup group. So I would highly recommend all of you join the GDG Mysuru group, and you can also join the TFUG. The link is in the chat window. Check out the chat window for joining links. Don't forget to join the GDG group. We have International Women's Day coming up, and we also have a lot of events and very interesting things coming up. So please join all these groups. You also have the TFUG group, and we have the Mysore Women in Machine Learning. All the links are in the chat window, and I will highly recommend joining all these links. Please join these meetup groups. And the most important is GDG Mysuru. We have devise, which is coming up this year. It will be a physical event. The only way we can keep in touch with all the your students in Mysuru is if you're going to be a part of this GDG Mysuru group. So don't forget to join this group. We only have 160 members at the moment. And so this is it. And so now getting started with Kaggle. So Kaggle has got competitions, data sets, code, and discussions forum. So we'll be covering all of these sections, and I'll give you some recommended courses is something Kaggle Learn, which I just explained to you. Like these are micro courses free of cost, and you also get a free certificate of completion. Outside this, Kaggle has got major sections: competitions, data sets, code, and discussions. If you take data sets, Kaggle has a huge repository of data sets. Recently, they announced they have around 100,000 data sets out there. So any problem, if you're looking for any use case and you are looking for some kind of a data which already exists, the first thing you can do is come and check out if there are going to be any existing data sets in Kaggle. If it is, then you can use that, or you can go and look out for the other sources as well. So Kaggle has got huge amount of data sets, around 100,000 data sets. So anytime you're looking for data sets, I would highly recommend checking Kaggle data sets first, and then try exploring the other sources. And outside data sets, you also have code. So there's huge volume of codes. Anytime you're looking, for example, you're doing faster RCNN and you want some kind of a templates, or you are doing YOLO, or whatever it is, you are looking for some kind of a code templates, you can go search YOLO. You'll find huge number of code templates as well. And it's not necessary you should always come and look at other people's work. You can also create Kaggle account in the Meet. If all you require is Gmail ID, once you have a Gmail ID, you can just create a Kaggle account using Gmail ID in a minute. All it takes is a minute to create a Gmail Kaggle account. So using Gmail ID, create your Kaggle account. You can also upload your own data sets. Recently, I was giving a talk in a university in Hubli. Hubli, all of you know, has got UNESCO heritage sites. So the professors there are doing a lot of research in doing all these. They're doing some kind of a research in computer vision with regards to the UNESCO heritage sites out there. So they wanted to outsource all those data in Kaggle. So if you have such interesting data sets and you want to give it to the public for doing further research, you can also come and upload it in Kaggle. And it's not necessary you should always keep looking at other people's code. You can also come and contribute and write your own codes as well. Discussions. So discussions is whenever you have queries in Kaggle, you can come create a new post and get started with discussions. You can also go and ask your queries to other people, and you can also answer other people's code. It's either way. So discussions is mainly for asking queries, answering queries, and all that. You have separate sections, what queries you should ask, where general queries, beginner level queries, product feedbacks, question and answers, and all that. The final most important thing is the Kaggle competitions. In competitions, there are two types of competitions. One is a knowledge-based competition and the other is a price money competition. So knowledge based competitions is what I would highly recommend if you're a beginner. Get started with Titanic, which is a classification problem, then house prices regression, then you also have one for time series, for TPUs, for natural language processing, for GANs, all these. So get yourself comfortable with all these knowledge competitions. Once you're very strong with this, then head on to the prize money competitions. In addition, if you love tabular data, Kaggle has got tabular playground series every month. So you can also hone your tabular skills, tabular data skills using these competitions. And you can also host your competitions using community competitions. It's absolutely free of cost. And so these are some of the things which use possible in Kaggle. And if you do not know how to use any part of Kaggle has got a nice documentation where for every section, so anything you don't know how to do it in Kaggle, you can refer to these documentations. And check out the community guidelines. Do not have multiple accounts in Kaggle, and do not engage yourself in any malpractices. Check out the guidelines and follow it religiously. You can also follow me on Kaggle. This is going to be my Kaggle profile. Just follow me on Kaggle, and there'll be a follow button here which you need to Kaggle. You can create an account using your Gmail ID in a minute or so. So this is about Kaggle, and the internship, the projects and resume. As I already mentioned, don't give any basic projects like Titanic, house price, and all. Your project should stand out, because there were recently I was hiring, and there were around 700 applications for 3 people. And so it's not necessary. It's not that those only 3 people are good. It's just that those 3 people got lucky. There were a lot of other brilliant people as well. So what stands out from the crowd is your unique project experience. So ensure you deal with unique problems and put that as your experience in your resume. And internship search can be very, very daunting. And so if it's going to be a huge number of applications and one or two get selected, it doesn't mean if you didn't get selected, it doesn't mean you are bad. It's just that there could be a lot of reasons on why you didn't get selected, because there's maybe that person got some recommendation from somebody inside the company or things like that. They already know the founder. Though there could be a lot of reasons why you didn't get selected. So don't lose hope. Keep searching. If at all you're not able to pull off the internship at all, then create your own internship. Then go out and look for data from your local police station, collectorate office, or any government office. Find your own data, or scrap your own data, create your own data set, build your own project, and create your own internship. Volunteer for free. If nobody is taking you in, then create your own internship and build projects and put that as your resume. You can also go look for job search sites like Internshala, Angel List, and all these sites. LinkedIn has also got job posting. A lot of candidates come and reach out and they say they're looking for job. I ask them, have you searched in Internshala or Angel.co or LinkedIn jobs? I think they say no. First, look at these job search sites and first search for internships there. Only if you do not get anywhere else, and you should reach out to people. First check the job listing sites. Mindset is very, very important. And so you need to put a fixed amount. You need to be persistent in your work, and you need to persistently work hard. Hard work over a period of time is what will lead to success. We have come to the end of the session, and I'll open up for questions now. We have 20 more minutes, and I'll open up for questions. If there are any questions, you can let me know. I'll share the link to the slides.
Ma'am, while getting started with ML or any new technology for that matter, one of the best ways to learn is like definitely start with some projects slowly and steadily. And so, are there any already, made projects that a person who's just getting started, like if you're doing course on linear algebra or whatnot, you're just following it along the way. Are there any projects that someone can start right off the bat, something that's simple, just about after like probably 1 month of going over the basics?
Yeah, sure. You can get started right away with Kaggle projects. I'll just share my screen. See, some you just require you don't even require 1 month experience. So these are some of the projects which the knowledge-based projects you can get straight away. You don't have to know anything. For example, this is a time series forecasting data. This is a real-world data, and so if you just go here, you don't have to know anything. So you have around, for Titanic, you are around 10,000 notebooks. Here also you have more than 200, 300 notebooks. So even without knowing anything, you can just go filter it based on most odds, and then you'll find the good notebooks. You can start looking at those notebooks and learning from it. You can, if you have doubts, you can also ask any questions. So Kaggle has been there for 11 years. So there might be something like more than 3,000, 4,000 competitions, and all these competitions are real world competitions. So you can take the old competitions in Kaggle, get practice with it. The advantage is you'll already have codes with you, the best code, so you don't have to write anything from the scratch. The codes are already out there, and if you have any doubts, you can also ask them in the discussion forum. And you can also, like, the lot of competitions allow late submissions. You can also make a submission. So Kaggle has real world problems in the sense. See, these are real world companies. So if you take this is from the company H&M. So this is a company in finance, and this is a project from the company, and it's a real world data of the company. So these are real world data sets. So if you take this feedback price competition, this is from Georgia State University. So all these are real world problem statement. Ubiquant market prediction is from a real world company, Ubicon. This is a Chinese quantitative finance company. So all these are real world problems. So you can take a lot of old Kaggle competitions. The data will also be there. The code, sample code, you don't have to know anything in advance. The sample code is already there. You can practice with these projects and then slowly head on to, you'll get more confident. Then you can start applying for internships.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, we have a question, which is what's the difference between AI, ML, and data science?
AI is just a fancy term. That's it. So we have not still realized the artificial general intelligence yet. So the machine still cannot think on its own. There are cases, exceptional cases in certain aspects. The machines are, on their own. But majority of the times we have not reached any artificial general intelligence. It's just an umbrella term to refer to a lot of things like combined things like machine learning, deep learning. It's just an umbrella term. And when you take data science, any scientific technique, where any time when you use data and you apply a certain set of process, whether it could be machine learning. Data science is an umbrella term which comprises of machine learning, deep learning, computer vision, NLP, and all this comes under this umbrella term of data science. In all of the data science technique, you use data to solve a business problem. And when you take machine learning generally refers to solving tabular data. The reason is you should have ask, the question should be, what is the difference between machine learning and deep learning? So machine learning, you will have handcrafted features. In a sense, if you want to predict if a patient features are given, and if you want to predict if the patient is diabetic or not, you will be having patient features like the patient's age, the patient's gender, the patient's ethnicity, which country the patient is from, what is his heart rate, and what is his glucose level, a lot of features like this. So these are handcrafted features. But if you take deep learning, you will not have handcrafted features. The algorithms will itself learn the features. You will be just given images, and from the images you will have to extract. The algorithm extracts features. So the only difference between machine learning and deep learning is machine learning, you give handcrafted features, and deep learning, the algorithm extracts features. And if you ask me, data science is an umbrella term which encompasses all of it. Yeah. Next question.
Mom, there aren't. So basically, when we look at the placements that are happening even for the third years, fourth years, you never really have a direct. Companies don't usually come for this position at all for a machine learning engineer or for a data science role. So is it something that, where do you get started in a work environment if that is something that we want to do? In
So if the only see the placements, I think for the majority of the times, the startup companies, they will stick to Bangalore or the major cities. So what you should ideally do is, the only option left is reach out first, shortlist the list of startups which interest you. So if you are very much interested in data science or machine learning or deep learning in particular, or NLP in particular, or computer vision, whatever is interesting for you, find out that first. And once you identify that, shortlist all the startups which is doing good job in computer vision. Reach out to the employees or reach out to the management or whatever, HR or whatever it is, and you will have to search for job. That is the only way you can search for job if you are into AI, if you want to get into AI. And follow all the HRs. Give a LinkedIn connection request to majority of the hiring managers from various companies. Keep asking them if there are any positions back end. And if you follow many people, most of them will have, rolling out that they are hiring interns, they are hiring for full-time employees passed out in 2021, 2022. So LinkedIn is the best place to search for jobs. LinkedIn also has got postings, LinkedIn job postings, which you can hang up. And you can also reach out to the startups directly. There's something called angel.co where which all the startups are there. So here you will find all the startups, and these startups will have the positions. You will have all the startups registered, and for job seekers, and you can reach out to the startups directly. They'll have browse jobs. So this is a startup hub where you can see these are companies which are currently hiring. So Instacart is hiring for director of product design. Stripe is hiring for this. So here you can search for data science job. So there's a requirement for there's a requirement for Android engineer. So you can search for remote jobs, data analyst, and then you can start searching. There are a lot of companies which are there. So this is how Angel.co is just one recommendation, but there are a lot of sites allowed like this. You'll have to just find those sites and start searching, applying. So on an average, from whatever I hear of the candidates, they say they apply for 300 jobs, and out of which they get 15 or 20 interviews. Out of this, they get 2 or 3, they get selected. So on an average, most of them end up applying for 300, 400 jobs. This is what the students told me. That is even for their campus placements. The companies like Infosys, TCS, Wipro, they come, they hire software engineers. They do not many AI companies come to their universities as well. So you have to keep finding all the startups and keep applying. And that's going to be an exhaustive process. But that's the only option left as of now.
Thank you, Mamam. There's one more question that says, does ML or data science require a lot of math, especially statistics?
See, maths, even without strong mathematical skills, at 95, 90, 80% of the time to 85% of the time, you will still be able to solve the problem even without that strong mathematical skills. But if you're getting inside a research jobs, and it's always very important to understand what you're doing. So if you understand more about what you're actually dealing with, because there are a lot of libraries out there like Scikit-learn and many libraries which makes your job easier. But if you understand what you're doing, to understand what you're doing in machine learning, you should have a strong mathematical skills. The libraries make it easier, but still, if you understand the mathematical underlying of those things, then you will be able to solve the problems with much more precision, and you will be able to explain to the client or customer as well in a better way. And there could be a lot of things which you might just miss out if you do not understand mathematics. So it's recommended that you have strong mathematics skills, particularly statistics. But even without the skills, given the kind of era where we are, with a lot of libraries coming in every day and every week, there are a few libraries getting released and AutoML libraries coming up, which makes our job easier. But still, mathematics is highly recommended.
If anyone else has any other questions, they can ask right now.
You can also follow me on Twitter in my Twitter handle. This is my Twitter handle. If you're all on Twitter, you can follow me on Twitter. The slides are already shared in the chat window. You can have the slides, and you can follow me on Kaggle, follow me on Twitter. And this is it from my end.
So I will like to go on and conclude with the event. First of all, thank you so much, ma'am, for taking time out of your busy schedule. It was definitely a very informative session, and it was more practical in terms of you. I bet a lot of us have attended a lot of events, a lot of talks where we get the gist of what they're talking about, but now how to go about it. And this was a more, we. I bet everyone got a clarity as to how to go about this journey and where to start and what all is a prerequisite or what all is definitely needed to start with ML. And thank you so much, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you so much for organizing this event, Nitya, and a great job at it. So, hats off to both Nitya and Pooja for pulling off this event. You're doing a great job for the community. Keep doing such great work, and catch you all soon in person sometime soon. And
Yeah.
best wishes to the remaining plans you have for the community. Yeah.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm just leaving the call. Yeah. Best wishes. Thank you so much for the audience for coming today as well. Yeah. Happy weekend. Happy Sunday. Take care. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Thank you so much.